till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back. Horse stock is a
Good day, people. It's me, Subject Guru. I'm sorry for the delay. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks. I had a strep throat, so I wasn't able to speak for some time. So I'm just recovering from it. Either way, so today we'll be learning all about algebra, part two, types of algebraic expressions. There are five types: monomial, binomial, trinomial, polynomial, multinomial. We'll be also learning what is power of polynomials. Anyway, let's get right into it. Okay, so what is monomial? Well, monomial is derived from the word mono plus meal. So meal is just an extra addition to monomial. It signifies that a monomial is an algebraic expression. Now, what does mono mean? Mono means one, one, singular. Now, there are now, as I told you, there are five types of algebraic expression. The first type is monomial. So that means that in this monomial, the type algebraic expression will have only one term. For example, 12. Now that is a monomial because it is of only one term. Okay. Now what about 12x or 12z? This is also a monomial. But if we say 12 plus x, now this is not a monomial. Okay. You see, every every uh, uh, every term is separated by either a plus or a minus sign, and is and they are brought together by an into sign or a division sign, not a question mark, a division. But you may think, well, then what is 12? Then where is the division sign in division or multiplication sign in 12z? Well, when there are uh, uh, when there are two numbers, a variable and a constant, just added up together like 12x, 12z, 11y, etc. Those are those are actually 12 into z. This x over here is into sign. Okay, 12 wait 12 into z. Okay, so since at that z will not have a perfect number, it's a variable, as we learned last time. This will be added up to this, so it'll become as 12z. Okay, but one more thing is that since this is singular, singular, it means that it is independent. It does not depend upon other things, other terms, other variables. Now let's move on to binomial. Binomial is consisted of three words: bi plus no plus meal. As we already know what's the meaning of meal, no is just a word which is added to join these two words. You can't say by meal because it's kind of it's sort of putting it off, as we have mono, right? So we add now no over here. Now by means two, twice. So that means this binomial consists of two constants, two variables, or two variables and constants. Only then will it become a binomial. For example, you can say 12 plus 13. We all know the answer is 25, but we're going to keep it like this. So 12 plus 13 is a binomial. In an equation, we will simplify it, but now is not the time. Okay, it is a binomial. Next, we can take the example of like what? Z plus X. Even this is also a binomial. We can also say 12X, 12Z plus 13Y. Now, these are also known as binomial. But what is not a binomial is 12 or X or 3Y. These are not binomials. Give me a second. Okay. So, from all of our observations till now, we can deduce that a binomial is not singular. It's double or twice, which means the double or twice, or known as secondary. A monomial, a monomial is primary. This is secondary, which means that it is dependent, right? But it's a secondary dependent because it needs two two uh what is because it needs two uh yeah, it's secondary dependent, which means that it needs two terms to become a binomial. Now let's transition into trinomial. Trinomial is again made up of three words: tri plus no plus meal, right? Now we all know what is a no and meal, right? Now what is tri? Tri means three. So that means that in algebraic expressions, a trinomial consists of three terms, meaning it needs three terms to become a trinomial. So for example, a trinomial can be 12x plus x plus 14. Sorry. Now this is a trinomial. Now what isn't a trinomial are x, that is not, and even x plus 2. These are not trinomials because they they are made up of either one term or two terms. You see, trinomials can consist of both of just constants or just variables or both. Now, from deducing this from deducing the meaning of trinomial, we can say that trinomials are tertiary, and that means that they are ter- tertiary dependent, which means that it needs three terms to become a trinomial. Now, I'm these algebraic episodes. I will keep it short because algebra is a little bit hard to understand at best, a little confusing. So, I will keep it short for you or for all of my viewers to understand it properly and go step by step. Next class, I will be teaching you all addition and subtraction in algebra. But first, let's finish this class, right? Okay, so let's go on to polynomial. Polynomial is, of course, consists of poly plus no plus mial. Poly actually means four, but in algebraic expressions, polynomials are not meaning four. They do not mean they need four terms to become a polynomial necessarily. Meaning that a polynomial needs two or more terms to become a polynomial, which means that a binomial is a polynomial. A binomial is a polynomial, a trinomial is a polynomial, and even a four terms is also a polynomial. An algebraic expression with four terms is also a polynomial. The thing is with polynomial that it can be 12 plus x, as simple as that, or it can be or it can be 12x minus 15y plus x plus 13 minus minus 13. Yes, these can also become an polynomial because as you see here it consists of four terms: 12x, 15y, x and 13. This makes it a polynomial. But an example of a polynomial, example of which is not a polynomial, could be just x or 12 or 12y. Yes, why? Because these are monomials. Now, as we learnt earlier, monomials are equal as 1. So, and I told you that polynomials require two or more terms. And since a monomial does not have two or more terms, it's a singular term. That is why it is not a polynomial. Good. Now let's learn what is multinomial. We know it is consists of three words: multi plus no plus meal. Multi means more, large, or more in numbers. Multinomial, going with that, going with the verdict which we did to find the definition. A multinomial consists of more than two terms, right? It needs more than two terms because more than two is more, right? As I told you earlier. So we can't say that 12 plus x is a multinomial. Sure, it's a binomial and a polynomial, but it is not a multinomial. But we can say 12 plus x minus 14y. Now this is a multinomial. More than two terms equals as multinomial and polynomial. More than two or more terms are equal as polynomial. Another one more thing to note is that every multinomial is a polynomial, But not every polynomial is a multinomial. Okay, now let's move on to power of polynomials. Okay, the power of polynomials. What does power mean? Power means degree of um, height or authority. Authority, as we learned earlier in last class. Power means authority. So now what is the degree? Now this power equals as degree of authority. It can also be shortened as degree. So it is therefore also known as degree of polynomials. Right? Okay. Now, now this is the degree of polynomials, right? What is it? Well, degree of polynomials is basically the highest power, which is the highest power in the polynomial. Well, we can, it's not like we have to add all the powers or the exponents. No, we have to find the term with the largest power. For example, let's take 12x plus 13y square plus 22 to the power of 3. Then in this case we have to find out which term has the highest power. So we can rule out 12x because 12x does not have any power. 13y square has a power. So we can compare 13y square to 22 to the power of 3. 22 cube. Now, which is the higher digit? Well, the highest power or the degree of the polynomial is 3. Let's take another example. For example, let's take 12x square x cube y to the power of 6 minus 17 c to the power of 7, right? C to the power of 7 and y to the power of 3. Now, what does this mean? What is the degree, right? Well, let's take the powers in question. The powers are x to the cube and y raised to the power of 6 and c to the power of 7 and y raised to the power of 3. Now, how can we figure out which is the highest power? Well, we're going to figure out the highest power each term, the term which has the highest power, which means that we are going to multiply 3 and 16. We need to multiply all the powers in one, which is contained by one term. For example in this term, 12x raised to the power of 3, y raised to the power of 6, right? So this means that we will have to find out the total power of the term. So we have to multiply 3 into 6. And 3 into 6 is the first term. Power is the first term's power is 18. Now the second term power is 7 into 3, which is 21. So that means the degree is 21. That is how you find the power of polynomials. Okay, I would like to thank you for all the support I have been I have been receiving. Let's aim to get 60 subscribers. Yes, at 60 subscribers, I would like to get 60 subscribers, and let's aim for this video to get, let's hear it, 2 likes. Okay, 2 likes, and I will upload another video. Now I'm just kidding, I will upload all the day, but if you give me, if you give me 2 likes, it will really encourage me to do some. Okay, so see you guys later, and I hope you do well. Bye.